Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The road to WWE WrestleMania 41 is heating up amid a chaotic week in the sports entertainment juggernaut. One major thing that happened recently was the return of Randy Orton, who showed up at Elimination Chamber to save Sami Zayn and get revenge from Kevin Owens. The Viper tried to hit the prized fighter with a punt kick at Elimination Chamber to avenge receiving a piledriver from him on SmackDown a couple of months ago. The two men want to end each other's career, so Nick Aldis could announce a loser leaves town match between them at WrestleMania 41. It would be the only sensible way to end their feud, as both of the stars cannot remain on the same brand for long. So the loser at the grandest stage of them all could leave WWE SmackDown and join Raw. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens were supposed to face off at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia last year, but the match never happened due to a brawl erupting between them prior to it. It is going to be very hard for Nick Aldis to keep them under control on the road to WrestleMania and ensure that they have a proper encounter this time. WWE could write the loser of the match off television for a couple of weeks after the show of shows and bring them back on Raw when the draft takes place. Randy Orton's punt kick is one of the most dangerous maneuvers in pro wrestling. It was banned by WWE in 2012 to prevent wrestlers from getting concussions. The Apex Predator has used it rarely since then. He hit the move on several names in 2020 when he went back to being the Legend Killer. Kevin Owens would have become the latest name to be on the receiving end of the move, but security intervened at Elimination Chamber and stopped Orton from hitting it. The Stamford-based promotion has seen a more brutal style of wrestling since Triple H took over as the chief content officer in 2022, so the creative could allow the veteran to use the move for a special occasion. The WWE creative is likely saving it for the show of shows. Randy Orton hitting KO with a punt kick would make for a special WrestleMania moment. It was a monumental moment in the world of professional wrestling when Nick Aldis, the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, stepped into the WWE Universe with an announcement that would forever change the landscape of WrestleMania. The stage was set, the crowd roaring in anticipation, and the air was thick with excitement. Aldis, known for his deep understanding of wrestling's legacy, stood poised before the masses, ready to unveil the most electrifying match of the year. "Tonight, we are standing on the precipice of history," Aldis began, his voice resonating with the passion of someone who had lived and breathed this business for years. The crowd hushed, their attention fixed on every word. What we're about to witness at WrestleMania is more than just a match. It's a culmination of decades of history of blood, sweat, and sacrifice. It's a battle for legacies that have defined generations. And tonight, I am here to announce a match that will leave its mark on the annals of this company forever. The WWE Universe erupted with speculation, fans buzzing in their seats, wondering who Aldis was referring to. The energy in the arena was palpable as Aldis took a step forward, revealing more of the dramatic news. For months now, Aldis continued, we've seen two of the biggest legends in this business clash time and time again. These two men are icons, not just in WWE, but in the very fabric of professional wrestling itself. I'm talking about two of the most decorated champions, two of the most dominant forces to ever step foot in a WWE ring. I'm talking about none other than the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels and the Phenom The Undertaker. The arena had exploded with an electric response. Shawn Michaels, the Showstopper, and The Undertaker, the Deadman, two of the most iconic figures in WWE history, were about to square off in a match that would decide more than just a rivalry. This was about their legacies. This was personal. Aldis paused, letting the anticipation build before delivering the shocking announcement that would forever change WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, Aldis declared, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker will face each other in a loser leaves town match. One will walk out victorious, and one will be forced to leave WWE for good. The rivalry, a legacy of glory. The loser leaves town stipulation wasn't just a dramatic twist. It was a fitting culmination to a feud that had been brewing for years. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker's rivalry was one of the most storied in WWE history, built on the foundation of respect, mutual admiration, but also the fierce competitive spirit that had defined both men's careers. For The Undertaker, his legacy had been one of dominance, mysticism, and an unbeaten streak at WrestleMania that had stood for over 2 decades. The Deadman had claimed his place as the ultimate force in WWE, striking fear into anyone who crossed his path. His dominance at WrestleMania had become the stuff of legend, with his matches becoming a centerpiece of the event. Shawn Michaels, on the other hand, was the epitome of excellence in the ring. Known for his breathtaking athleticism, his unparalleled charisma, and his show-stealing performances, Michaels had spent his career redefining what it meant to be a WWE superstar. He had been part of some of the most iconic matches in WWE history, from his bouts with Bret Hart to his unforgettable encounters with Triple H and Chris Jericho. But perhaps the greatest chapter in his career had come when he met The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Their first clash at WrestleMania 25 is still regarded as one of the greatest matches in WWE history, a back-and-forth masterpiece that left fans in awe. Their rematch at WrestleMania 26 was equally unforgettable, with Michaels putting his career on the line in a desperate bid to end The Undertaker's streak. Michaels lost, but not without solidifying his place as one of the all-time greats. Since then, both men had been relegated to sporadic appearances, occasionally offering their services for special events or one-off matches. Yet the tension between them had always lingered. The Undertaker, now a shadow of his former self, struggled to find his place in a changing WWE landscape. Michaels, long since retired, watched from the sidelines as newer generations of wrestlers vied for the spotlight he once held. But this year at WrestleMania, they were set to square off once again, and this time it was for everything. The significance of the Loser Leaves Town match. The Loser Leaves Town match is one of the most emotionally charged stipulations in professional wrestling. It's a stipulation that brings finality, a sense of irrevocable change that will reshape the future. The very nature of the match implies that no one can escape its consequences. The implications of such a match for two legends like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker were immense. For Shawn Michaels, the thought of leaving WWE after all these years was almost unfathomable. The heartbreak of that moment would be undeniable. He had given everything to the company, his body, his heart, his soul, and for him to be forced to walk away would be an incredibly emotional send-off. For a man who had redefined the art of storytelling in the ring, the idea of retiring under such circumstances would carry a deep personal weight. On the other hand, The Undertaker had spent his entire career crafting the legend of the Deadman. His streak at WrestleMania was arguably the most impressive achievement in wrestling history, and his mystique was unmatched. But with age catching up to him and the reality of his physical limitations, his time in the ring was limited. A Loser Leaves Town match would provide a fitting end to his legacy, a final battle against his greatest rival, where he would either cement his place in history or fade away in defeat. The stakes could not have been higher. The match would not only decide who would leave WWE, but also who would carry the mantle of legend into the future. And that level of intensity would make this match one for the ages. The build-up, a story told through vignettes. In the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, WWE would go all in on telling the story of this rivalry. Vignettes would air on WWE programming, showcasing the histories of both Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. These videos would revisit their previous encounters, emphasizing their legendary matches at WrestleMania and the deep respect they shared, as well as the inevitable tension that had been building between them. In one segment, fans would witness The Undertaker walking through a desolate cemetery, perhaps contemplating the end of his career. His thoughts would echo in the form of a voiceover, offering a rare glimpse into his psyche. "I've walked through the fires of hell, Shawn," he'd say. "But in the end, we all must face our reckoning. At WrestleMania, I'll make sure it's you who rests in peace." Shawn Michaels' vignettes would carry a different tone. His legacy as the showstopper would be front and center, with highlights of his most iconic matches playing out in the background. The voiceover would capture the essence of who Michaels was, a man who would sacrifice everything to be remembered as the best. "I've danced with the devil, Taker," Michaels would say, his voice calm but with an undercurrent of intensity. But at WrestleMania, it's not just about the match. It's about everything we've built, and I'll be damned if you take that from me. Their final face-off on WWE television before WrestleMania would be a moment of pure drama. The two legends, perhaps standing in the ring together for the first time in years, would exchange a look that spoke volumes. Their history would be apparent in every word, every gesture, every movement. This would be a battle not just for victory, but for the very soul of WWE itself. WrestleMania, a battle for legacy. When the night of WrestleMania arrived, the atmosphere would be electric. The grandest stage of them all would be set for one of the most anticipated matches in WWE history. The crowd would be split between the two legends, with both men having earned their place in the hearts of fans worldwide. The match itself would be a clash of two generations: Shawn Michaels, the high-flying technician who could steal the show, and The Undertaker, the unearthly force of nature who could strike fear into the hearts of his opponents. It would be a battle of endurance, strength, and willpower. The Deadman's methodical pacing would clash with Michaels' speed and agility, creating a dynamic that would keep the audience on the edge of their seats. The psychology of the match would be crucial. The two men would wrestle with deep emotion, the realization that their careers were on the line fueling every move. The match would build to a dramatic crescendo, with near falls and moments of desperation from both sides. Michaels, the high flyer, would use his speed and agility to gain the upper hand, while Undertaker, with his experience and unrelenting power, would prove that his time had not yet come to an end. The climax would come when the two men found themselves locked in a final, desperate struggle. In the end, one would emerge victorious, The Undertaker or Shawn Michaels, while the other would be forced to leave the company. The reaction from the crowd would be deafening, a mix of elation and sorrow, as WWE's past and future collided in a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. Aftermath. A new era dawns. Regardless of who won, the ramifications of the loser leaves town match would be felt for years to come. The WWE Universe would remember this match as a defining moment in history, one that proved that even legends must eventually face the consequences of time. It would mark the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter for the company. For the winner, it would mean the continuation of their legacy, but with the weight of knowing that they had to take down one of their greatest rivals to do so. For the loser, it would be the end of a chapter, but also the beginning of a new life outside of WWE. In the end, WrestleMania would be the perfect stage for such a monumental contest, where two legends would meet in a battle that would define their careers and set the stage for the future of WWE. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.